Okay, thank you very much for your time. Can you hear me talking? Good. So let's go ahead and begin this as long as you can hear me talking. So let's just start with a quote. But what we're really going to talk today again is about the Scaled Agile Framework. The Scaled Agile Framework is basically a reference model for applying lean and agile thinking principles and practices to entire organizations and portfolios and large programs. But before we dive into the details, let's begin with a quote by Sun Tzu. He said something very, very profound quite a long time ago. He said, strategy without tactics is the slowest route to victory. That alone is profound. But then he followed that up by saying that tactics without strategy is the noise before the defeat. And this is sort of an age-old debate in business circles, especially in the United States for the last century, is what's more important, strategic planning to an organization or an enterprise or a Fortune 500 firm, or the tactical operational efficiency and effectiveness. And this has been an ongoing debate. What Sun Tzu recognized as a Chinese general, hundreds or thousands of years ago, was that you needed both. You needed to be good in both areas. You needed a good strategic plan, but you also needed good, operational tactics. And that's really what SAFe is all about. SAFe is all about linking those two elements of organizational success. If I can move to the next slide here. There we go. So what we're really talking about here today is portfolio management, or really enterprise management, a popular buzzword. It's not a buzzword, but it's a phenomenon in the industry, is this notion of business agility. And that means that the entire enterprise, the entire corporation, the entire government agency is agile. And another way of saying business agility is portfolio agility. And let's just look at a quick definition of portfolio management by the Project Management Institute. They define basically, a portfolio is really a sub-portfolio or containing sub-portfolios, programs, projects, and operations. And when you kind of group all those elements together, the PMI says you have a portfolio. Thus, portfolio management obviously means to manage the sub-portfolios, programs, and projects and operations to do what? To achieve the strategic objectives, corporate profit, customer satisfaction. Employee satisfaction is becoming a very big focus of modern organizations, right? And then lower level objectives, obviously, like being more efficient, effectiveness, and creating both internal and external business value. So in the PMI's mind, portfolio management is sort of kind of linking the strategy, which is at the top, to the programs and projects, which are sort of at the bottom of the hierarchy. And don't forget those people that make it all happen, the organizational resources, right? Okay. And so portfolio management really, at least in PMI's mind, is to link these two elements, together, right? And SAFe, not to be redundant, sort of kind of brings those two elements together, like Sun Tzu, said. People will spend their entire careers, just focusing on one element of this. They'll focus on just the visioning, or just the missioning, or the strategic planning, or maybe they'll focus on just the portfolio management or the operations. We can't forget operations. That's such an important element of the portfolio, as well as the programs and the projects and the organizational resources. People, there are entire disciplines devoted to each of these layers. But SAFe tries to present a reference model for bringing all of these layers together. That's what makes Sun Tzu's quote so relevant, right? Let's move on to the next slide here. So without further ado, let's try to, add a little bit of definition to what we're talking about. We talked about, the notion of business agility or portfolio agility or enterprise agility. Well, a new class of frameworks is starting to emerge, not just things like the PMBoK, the project management body of knowledge, not just things like the program management body of knowledge, not just things like the portfolio management body, but we're talking about reference models to address all the layers on that pyramid that we saw on the previous slide, right? So thus, a lean and agile framework by definition is a support structure, a skeletal enclosure, a scaffolding platform, a model for addressing all those layers of the organization. So what's new about lean and agile frameworks? Well, they're not just traditional frameworks, but they promulgate lean and agile thinking, values, and principles across the enterprise, your portfolio, your programs, and your projects. And that's really it right there. It's basically instilling lean thinking at the organizational, at the enterprise, at the portfolio level to maximize flow of value to your market, to your customers, right? And doing this in a collaborative way, using teamwork and doing this iteratively and responding to change. That's sort of the notion of agility, right? Because the market is unpredictable, as we've discovered for the last 100 years. It's nice to have a 100-year plan, but what happens when market conditions change, or you learn what a true customer requirement is really all about? And like the PMBoK or the program management body of knowledge, we want to be able to scale this up, or the CMMI, or even ISO 9001 or Baldrige, but we want to have some level of planning discipline. We don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Planning is still important. We still need some level of architecture, whether that's enterprise architecture, system architecture, and really more importantly, as we see, we want to do this in a quality fashion. Lean and agile thinking sort of, had the reputation as being the best way to be quick to market with low quality products. But we want to be quick to market, but we want to make sure that whatever we deliver, whether it's a service, a product, or a service product, it's the highest quality, all right? Especially if you're in a mission critical organization like the energy firm that I'm working for right now. They want to ensure that whatever they release to the market is of the highest possible quality. And when we do all the things on this slide, we'll achieve business value. And that's a very, very broad term. That could be shareholder value. That could be return on investment, revenues, profits. It could be employee morale. Right? Well, I think what we're starting to discover is that if your employees aren't happy, you're just not going to be a very, very effective organization, right? So I think we're starting to learn as a business community that it's really, really important to make sure that our employees are well cared for. And if you don't do that first, not last, you're just not going to be very, very successful. So thus, let's talk a little bit about, I've alluded to this notion of lean values. Let's just talk very, very briefly about, what is this so-called house of quality?
Hi there, I hope you enjoyed that last clip. My name is Michael Maludis, and if you'd like to watch the full 60 minutes of that last webcast, while also gaining complete unlimited access to our entire library of IT learning, simply visit our subscribe page at greatpro.org/subscribe. Unlimited annual access is $199 per year, but if you use the coupon code LEARN2EARN, you can drop that membership fee to just $149. That's less than $13 per month for unlimited access to over 1,000 hours of on-demand career development, covering the entire spectrum of IT management best practices, including business analysis and requirements, software development, quality and testing, risk management, process improvement, project management, and even digital transformation. But your membership doesn't just give you unlimited access to our vast learning library. You also get free access to our mobile app, as well as direct access to our network of over 300 of the world's leading IT consultants, all of whom are dedicated to putting practical knowledge at your fingertips so that you can learn more and earn more. I hope you will join me in becoming a member of the Great IT Professional and advancing your career with us. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button above so that you get notified whenever we publish new free webcasts each week of the year. Thank you for your time and best wishes for your continued success.